Author John Grisham began life as a lawyer and then, he says, got bored and began turning his courtroom experience into best-selling legal thrillers. His latest, The Reckoning, tells the story of a murder of a prominent Mississippi preacher by a returning World War II hero who confesses but refuses to say why he did it. Jeffrey Brown spoke with Graham for PBS Books at the Miami Book Fair and found out this novel includes a Grisham first.
Did something I've never done before.
Yeah.
In the context of a legal thriller. We start off with a murder, an arrest, criminal prosecution, the trial, a looming execution. You know, that's my sweet spot, okay? That's what I like to write about.
Yeah.
And then suddenly when that's over in part one, the book takes a hard left turn and goes off to World War II, to the Philippines, and the Bataan Death March. Because our hero, as it turns out, our anti-hero, what you want to call him, the murderer, the defendant, went off to fight in the war.
Is it correct that this is a story you heard a long time ago?
Yeah. I think it took place in Mississippi in the 1930s. That's the version I heard.
There's no question about the whodunit.
Yeah.
But there's the why that he just doesn't want to talk about.
That's why it's a great story, because the truth was never known. There was speculation that it involved his wife, but he would never say that because he did not want to damage her honor, impugn her reputation.
Right.
So he took it to his grave.
When you're writing about 1940s, 50s Mississippi, you're inevitably writing about race. You often in your books, I think, write about and get into social issues that interest isn't the right word, because it seem important to you. Is that fair?
Yes. I'm always searching for a story about an issue. Issues involving criminal justice, and especially injustice, with wrongful convictions and the death penalty and mass incarceration, our for-profit prisons, and all these problems that we have that we could fix if we would simply do it.
Is it the issue that interests you first, and then you find the story to go with it?
Both ways.
Both ways.
Both ways. Sometimes my wife will say, just stop preaching, get off your soapbox, and go write another firm. Just a good story of suspense, legal intrigue, and stop preaching for a while. And I'll do that. You can't impose your politics on your readers because it becomes sort of intrusive. You know, you don't want to do that. You don't want to assume everybody's got the same politics. So I stay away from it a lot. It's fun just to write a good old-fashioned thriller, suspense novel, without the heavy legal issues.
What made you want to be a writer in the first place?
I had a story. I had a great story that became A Time to Kill. And something I saw one day in court, and I said, I'm going to take that story and change this and change that and make it a very compelling courtroom drama in a small town in Mississippi. So I became obsessed with the story that became A Time to Kill.
Yeah. I read that you were given some early advice about publishing regularly or once a year, or
I'd never thought about it. I never thought about publishing every year, but when the firm came out in March of '91 now, a young editor just made an offhanded comment over lunch. He said, well, the big guys come out every year.
The big guys.
The big guys.
Writers.
The big writers.
Yeah.
He said, look at the lists. You got Tom Clancy, Stephen King, Michael Crichton. These guys come out every year. The key to it is to do it every year for a while. I never realized that. I never thought about that. And I'd started my third book, The Pelican Brief, and I hurried back home and quit touring. And I said, okay, I'm going to finish this book and publish it next year. And we got it done in a hurry, and that got it started. 25 years later, I still do it once a year.
Somehow there's that endless fascination with the justice system and process, right? Never went away.
We're Americans. We have this insatiable appetite for stories about the law and lawyers and crime, and we have a compulsion for litigation that is unmatched anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
We have so many rights that we either really have or we think that we have as Americans, and we love our rights that we cherish. And if somebody does something to tamper with a right that we think we have, we're not going to take it. We're going to call a lawyer. We're going to file a lawsuit. We're going to do something because we want justice. That's just the American way. That's in our DNA. And that leads to a lot of great stories.
Yeah, if you know where to look.
If you know where to look. Headlines.
All right, the new novel is The Reckoning. John Grisham, thank you very much.
My pleasure. Thank you, Jeff.
All of Jeff's conversations from the Miami Book Fair are available online at pbsbooks.org.